Mom hears a person fall into the pool before looking outside to see that it was far worse. There's no better way to cool down during the summer months than going for a dip in your pool. The best part? You don't have to deal with all those crowds at the beach. Still, owning a pool can be a big responsibility and dangerous if you're not careful. After all, when you have a swimming pool, that means that you have a big, watery hole right in the middle of your backyard, and since you can't be expected to monitor it constantly, unexpected things can happen while you're not watching. That's what one family discovered when they heard a mysterious splash from out of nowhere. Pools are dangerous for a lot of reasons. Not only can people, especially kids, drown if they're not strong swimmers, but they can easily lose their balance on the slippery walkway and fall. They can become injured near slides, diving boards, ladders, and handrails too. Unfortunately, one family experienced these risks firsthand after they heard a dramatic splash outside. Many families are fortunate enough to own a pool. It's a great way to get some exercise, enjoy family-friendly activities, and cool down during particularly hot weather. Still, as with any home fixture, there are some risks involved. Even if you're a strong swimmer, you can easily become injured on the equipment if you're not careful. It's generally a good idea to avoid using the pool alone or unsupervised, especially when it comes to young children. Unfortunately, this also applies to moments when you're not actively using your swimming pool. Just because you're not splashing around outside with a careful eye on the kids doesn't mean that the pool doesn't pose a risk, as one family discovered recently. When this family in the town of Mesa, Arizona, heard a loud splashing sound coming from their backyard, they were confused. Everyone was indoors. What could be causing the noise? They immediately raced outside to see what was going on and made a wholly unexpected discovery. Apparently, no one was keeping an eye on their beloved 12-year-old stallion, Stormy. The horse had been frolicking a little too close to the edge of their swimming pool, and he accidentally fell into it. Though the pool was only about 3 feet deep, that was enough to cause the poor horse to panic. He couldn't manage to escape, and he soon started kicking and splashing around the pool until he caught his owner's attention. Once Stormy's family realized what had happened, they rushed to the phone. There was no way they could pull their beloved horse out of the pool on their own, but would rescuers be too late? Thankfully, the Mesa Fire Department showed up quickly. Though the water wasn't very deep, Stormy was so frightened and frantic that he risked drowning himself if he didn't calm down. Rescuers would have to act quickly if they wanted to save the terrified animal in time. Unfortunately, Stormy's reaction made the firefighters' job even more difficult. They needed to calm him down as soon as possible. But how? Thankfully, a veterinarian was riding along with the Mesa Fire Department, and Captain Forrest Smith instructed him to tranquilize the struggling horse. Obviously, this was going to be a tricky operation. Stormy was heavy, and his dead weight didn't make it any easier. To remove him, they decided it was best to try looping a pair of sturdy straps around his body. They didn't have a crane on hand, so there was only one option for these firefighters: heave-ho! The team of 6 men just needed to muster up whatever strength they could to try and lift Stormy from the pool. Miraculously, the rescuers were able to slide Stormy out of the water and onto the pool patio. A few more rescuers had to pitch in, and they lined the edge of the pool with a tarp so as to not hurt the exhausted animal. In what was probably a smart move, the firefighters slid the still unconscious horse far away from the pool's edge, just in case he startled awake and toppled back in. The veterinarian then stepped in to examine if the horse had sustained any injuries. Luckily, aside from being predictably soaked, Stormy escaped the ordeal with only a few bumps and bruises. It definitely could have turned out much worse, and there was no telling if he realized how lucky he was. The entire rescue was a relief for everyone watching the scene unfold, and they were all smiles once Stormy woke up and was back on his hooves again. It was a close call for sure. Thanks to the team of hardworking and heroic rescuers from the Mesa Fire Department, Stormy the stallion was expected to make a full recovery from what must have seemed like a nightmare. Of course, Stormy's family was relieved. Next time, they'll have to keep a closer eye on their horsey friend. Otherwise, there's no telling what sort of trouble he could find himself in. It's important to note that the American Red Cross recommends that all swimming pools be surrounded by a 4-foot-high fence to protect against unpredictable accidents, both to people and pets. Hopefully, Stormy's owners have learned their lesson and will keep a closer eye on their wandering stallion from here on out. Well, at least until the big guy learns how to swim. What a terrifying story. That poor horse must have been at his wit's end. Thank goodness his family found him before it was too late. Share this amazing rescue with your friends below.